Chioma was a proud Igbo woman, spirited, intelligent, and full of warmth. She had fallen deeply in love with Adewale, a charming and ambitious Yoruba man she met during a youth leadership conference in Lagos. Their love blossomed like the hibiscus flowers in her mother's garden, vibrant and unstoppable. But one thing stood in their way: Mama Adebisi, Adewale's mother. Mama Adebisi had always been wary of the Igbo people. Her resentment stemmed from a painful past, a wound that had never truly healed. Many years ago, when she was still a young wife, she and her husband had built a thriving textile business in Lagos. Her husband's closest business partner, an Igbo man named Chief Okeke, was like family to them. They trusted him deeply, believing their partnership would lead to greater success. Then, tragedy struck. One morning, Mama Adebisi woke up to news that Chief Okeke had pulled out of their business overnight, taking their biggest clients with him. Their business crumbled, debts piled up, and the stress drove her husband into an illness that eventually claimed his life. She struggled to rebuild, but the betrayal had already taken its toll. In her mind, it was not just Chief Okeke who had wronged her, it was his entire tribe. From that moment, she swore never to trust an Igbo person again. So when Adewale brought Chioma home and introduced her as his future wife, Mama Adebisi's heart turned cold. "Adewale," she said firmly, folding her arms, "you cannot marry this girl. I won't have it." Her words cut through Chioma like a knife, but she held her head high and smiled gently, refusing to be discouraged. Adewale tried to reason with his mother, but she was immovable. An Igbo woman, Mama Adebisi whispered to a neighbor later that evening. "After what they did to me." Chioma knew she could never be happy in a family that didn't accept her, yet she loved Adewale too much to walk away without trying. She resolved to change Mama Adebisi's perception, not just for herself, but to prove that people should not be judged by the mistakes of others. The annual Oko festival was approaching, an event deeply rooted in Yoruba tradition. Despite her reluctance, Mama Adebisi agreed to let Chioma visit for the festival, if only to humor her son. Chioma saw it as a chance to immerse herself in Yoruba culture and, perhaps, win Mama Adebisi's heart. On the second evening of the festival, disaster struck. A 5-year-old boy, Tunde, went missing. His mother's cries pierced the air as the entire village searched frantically. Night was falling, and fear gripped everyone's hearts. Chioma, recalling a quiet spot near the riverbank that she had seen earlier, had a gut feeling. While others scoured the main roads, she slipped away and rushed toward the river. Her heart pounded as she navigated through the dense foliage, calling out the boy's name. Then she heard it, a faint whimper. There, nestled between two large rocks, was Tunde, his tiny body curled up in fear. Without hesitation, Chioma waded into the shallow water, scooped him up, and wrapped him in her shawl. The boy clung to her, his small hands trembling. When she arrived back at the village square with the child in her arms, the entire community gasped in relief. Tun's mother wept as she took her son from Chioma, blessing her repeatedly. And then, something unexpected happened. Mama Adebisi's eyes filled with tears. She watched as Chioma comforted the child, stroking his hair, whispering words of reassurance. The young woman's face was soft with maternal care, her kindness shining through. At that moment, something shifted in Mama Adebisi's heart. She saw Chioma not as an Igbo woman, but as a compassionate soul, one who had risked her safety to save another. The bitter walls she had built for years began to crumble. Later that evening, as the festival fire crackled, Mama Adebisi approached Chioma. The usual sternness in her face had softened. "Thank you," she said quietly, her voice thick with emotion. "You saved that child without hesitation. I misjudged you." Chioma turned to face her, her heart pounding. "Mama," she said softly, "I know you have been hurt before. But I am not the person who wronged you. I love your son with all my heart, and I only wish to love and respect you too." Mama Adebisi exhaled deeply. For years, she had carried resentment like a heavy burden, but tonight, she felt at ease. Slowly, she reached out and took Chioma's hands in hers. "Welcome to the family, my daughter," she said, a smile breaking through her once stern face. Tears welled in Chioma's eyes, and for the first time, she felt truly at home. From that day, Mama Adebisi took Chioma under her wing, teaching her the Yoruba language and traditions. They found joy in each other's company, bonding over shared stories, cooking together, and laughing at the quirks of their different cultures. Their wedding was a grand affair, a celebration not just of love, but of unity. Igbo and Yoruba traditions blended beautifully, a testament to the fact that love could break even the strongest barriers. As Chioma and Adewale stood before their families, hands clasped, Mama Adebisi smiled proudly, knowing that she had not just gained a daughter-in-law, but a second chance at love and acceptance. And so, the threads of love wove tightly together, creating a beautiful new fabric of family, stronger than any past hurt.